Counting continues in the U.S. presidential elections with the balance hinged on key battleground states. Biden's projected wins in Wisconsin and Michigan push his chances for the top job. Incumbent Trump attacks the vote counting process, pursues lawsuits, demands recounts. It's the last day of campaigning in Bihar Assembly polls today before the third and final phase of elections for 78 seats on Saturday. The results will be declared on Tuesday. Union Home Minister Amit Shah visits West Bengal as BJP will form two-third majority government in the state after next year's polls, accuses the state government of obstructing benefits of the centre's schemes to the people. Environment Minister Prakash Javadekar chairs a second CEO forum on the theme India's climate action, the pivotal role of private sector leadership, outlines India's outstanding performance on climate change mitigation, stresses developing countries need money to follow eco-friendly path. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to chair the virtual Global Investor Roundtable, top pension and sovereign wealth funds to participate, meet to deliberate on accelerating international investments in India. United Nations adopts India's annual counter-terrorism resolution, co-sponsored by over 75 countries. The resolution was adopted by consensus in the UN General Assembly. And TV anchor Arnav Goswami sent to 2 weeks judicial custody by Alibag Court. His bail plea to be heard by the Bombay High Court. He was arrested by Maharashtra police yesterday amidst condemnation from all quarters. Hello and welcome. You're watching DD India with me, Munmun Bhattacharya. Let's start with the updates on the US presidential polls. In the close race for the U.S. presidency, Democrat Joe Biden is inching closer to victory over the incumbent president and Republican candidate Donald Trump. The long, winding and slow counting process was earlier showing close contest between the two rivals till late on Thursday night. But after Biden won the battleground states of Michigan and Wisconsin, his lead substantially increased. These two states had voted for Trump last time. With these two states and the battleground state of Arizona going in Biden's favor, the balance has tilted significantly towards him. Meanwhile, incumbent Donald Trump attacked the vote counting process. Trump's campaign has filed a lawsuit to try and suspend the vote counting in Michigan, Pennsylvania and Wisconsin, citing irregularities. However, the mail-in ballots could take days or weeks to be counted in some states, meaning a final winner might not be declared today unless a candidate bags a landslide victory. American presidential elections are decided not by popular vote but by securing a majority in the state-by-state electoral college, which has 538 members. The U.S. Elections Project estimated a total turnout at a record 160 million voters, including more than 101.1 million early voters, 65.2 million of whom voted by mail. And now an update from the Bihar Assembly polls, where campaigning is closing this evening for the third and final phase. In Bihar, campaigning for the third and final phase of elections will come to an end this evening, and in this phase, 78 constituencies spread over 15 districts will be going to polls on the 7th of November. Polling of a by-election to Valmiki Nagar parliamentary seat will also be held in this phase. Stalwarts of BJP, RJD and Congress are making last-ditch effort to woo voters. They are addressing a series of back-to-back election meetings. Leaders of left parties, including RLSP and HUM, which is Hindustani Awam Morcha, are also busy in addressing rallies and road shows. With the third phase of voting, the polling process in poll-bound Bihar will be completed. Counting will be held on the 10th of November. Results will be declared on the same day. Union Home Minister Amit Shah said that BJP will build a golden Bengal if voted to power in the state. After reaching Bankura, Amit Shah said that BJP will form a two-third majority government in the state after next year's polls.
मैं निश्चित रूप से देख रहा हूं कि ममता सरकार का मृत्युगंड बच चुका है। आने वाले दिनों में यहां भारतीय जनता पार्टी की 2/3 बहुमत की सरकार बनने जा रही है। मैं आज बंगाल की जनता को अपील करने आया हूं कि बंगाल एक सरहदी प्रांत है। देश की सुरक्षा बंगाल की आंतरिक सुरक्षा के साथ जुड़ी है। देश की सुरक्षा को सुनिश्चित करने के लिए, बंगाल के युवा को रोजगारी देने के लिए और बंगाल के गरीब लोगों को दारुण गरीबी से बाहर निकालने के लिए इस सरकार को उखाड़कर फेंक दीजिए।
Amit Shah alleged that the common people, especially farmers and tribal communities in West Bengal, are being deprived of the benefits of central projects.
मैं ममता दीदी को बताना चाहता हूं कि आपके मन में भय है कि इन योजनाओं को रोकने से आप भारतीय जनता पार्टी को रोक लोगी, तो आपकी भ्रांति है। आप एक गरीब लोगों के लिए मोदी जी ने जो 6,000 रुपया प्रति साल भेजा है वो पहुंचने दीजिए, स्वास्थ्य की सुविधाएं पहुंचने दीजिए, शौचालय पहुंचने दीजिए, इनका घर उन तक पहुंचने दीजिए, तो शायद थोड़ा बहुत भी आपके लिए सोचेंगे।
Union Home Minister Amit Shah visited the Chaturthi village in Bankura and met a tribal family there. Amit Shah took lunch with the tribal family. Earlier, he paid floral tributes at the statue of Birsa Munda. Shah reached Kolkata last night on a two-day visit of the state. Online nominations are invited from panchayats or similar level local bodies for National Panchayat Awards 2021, Appraisal Year 2019-2020. The panchayats or village councils are to be evaluated for the work undertaken by them during the Appraisal Year 2019-20. Online applications are open for entry by panchayats or village councils up to the 15th of November 2020. The states or union territories have to forward the online nominations after due verification to the Ministry of Panchayati Raj by the 15th of December. Link for sending online nominations is panchayataward.govt.in. Union Minister of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Prakash Javadekar, virtually chaired the India CEO Forum on Climate Change. In his address, Prakash Javadekar said India is walking the talk on climate change. India is compliant in action and contribution, he said. He added that India is on track to achieving its commitments to the Paris Climate Change Agreement.
In a way, by action, our Prime Minister has written that the answer to inconvenient truth is convenient action. and that convenient action path is very important. As we know historically, world is getting lot of emissions over hundreds of years since industrial revolution that has caused climate change, and our responsibility in historical emission is just 3%. Even today in the present context, our emission load of the world emission load or world is only 3%, 6%. So that is also, we are low in the present context. We are absolutely low in the historical context. See, climate change is very important issue to be discussed world over, and world action is needed on this. It is not one country can make a difference. All countries will have to work in that direction.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will today chair the Virtual Global Investor Roundtable (VGIR). The VGIR is being organized by the Ministry of Finance, Government of India, the National Investment and Infrastructure Fund. It is an exclusive dialogue between leading global institutional investors, Indian business leaders, and the highest decision makers from the Government of India and financial market regulators. The event is aimed at providing an opportunity to deliberate on further accelerating the growth of international investments in India. Union Minister for Science and Technology, Earth Sciences, Dr. Harshvardhan, today announced Gandhi Young Technological Innovation Awards 2020 for life sciences via video conferencing. While addressing the event, he lauded Prime Minister Narendra Modi's conviction for science and technology.
These facilities are available to the young people of India right now. And at the helm of affairs is a man who is an extreme, I would say, visionary, a man who knows how to pick up the great idea, how to convert that idea into a program, how to convert that idea into a vision, and then to ensure that that vision is also translated into delivery for people, and then to how to monitor the implementation of that vision and idea, and then how to convert it into perceptible and measurable change for the society. So this is all, I always say that the present time is the most ideal time for India to grow. It is the most ideal time for the young people also to prove their worth. And it is also the most appropriate time for the scientific community to actually show their, strength and power and their vision.
Union Minister Dr. Harshvardhan urged the youth to take inspiration from issues that people face on the ground and find their solutions in laboratories.
It is no rocket science to develop a dream. Pick up any good idea from anywhere. Look at the people around you. Look at the India around you. Look at the people who are living in the villages. Look at the poor people, the downtrodden, the have-nots, and see what they are suffering from. And look at, when you are working inside your laboratories, you will see that there are so many things that the scientists have already done. And there are so many ideas that you have been taught about.
In his keynote address at the Diamond Jubilee Webinar 2020, India's National Security, the Decade Ahead, Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh said that India made all efforts to improve its relations with neighbouring countries. As a result, today India enjoys very warm relations with its neighbours.
One of the most important elements of India's friend and the security policy is characterized by the neighborhood first initiative. Right from 2014, Prime Minister Modi invested substantial personal capital to ensure that this relationship was built and reinforced to create a positive and progressive partnership. The results of this initiative are evident. With the exception of Pakistan, given its agenda of fueling terrorism, India has improved its relations with all neighbors.
In Army Chief General MM Naravane, who is on a 3-day visit to Nepal, will be conferred with the honorary rank of General of Nepalese Army today. The honorary rank of General of the Nepal Army will be conferred to General Naravane by Nepal's President Vidya Devi Bhandari during a function in the President's office. The Army Chief will also meet Nepalese Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli and his Nepali counterpart Purna Chandra Thapa during the visit. Apart from this, General Naravane will distribute medical equipments and ventilators to 2 field hospitals of the Nepali Army for dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic. Permanent representative to the United Nations T.S. Tirumurti on Wednesday announced that India's annual resolution on the issue of counter-terrorism was co-sponsored by over 75 countries and adopted by consensus in the first committee of the UN General Assembly. In a tweet, Tirumurti said that India is at the forefront of counter-terrorism. He said that he was delighted that the annual resolution tabled by India on measures to prevent terrorists from acquiring weapons of mass destruction was co-sponsored by more than 75 countries and adopted by consensus in the first committee of the UN General Assembly. India, a victim of state-sponsored cross-border terrorism, has been at the forefront in highlighting the serious threat to international peace and security emanating from acquisition of weapons of mass destruction by terrorist groups. India continues to achieve success in its fight against COVID-19, with the recovery rate continuing to remain at more than 92%. More than 55,000 patients have recovered from the virus in the last 24 hours, adding the total number of those who have been discharged so far to cross 77,11,000 in India. Also recording just 704 deaths in a day, India's fatality rate plunges to less than 2%. India's caseload has also slid, registering just 5,825 cases of COVID-19 in the last 24 hours, cutting the total number of active cases to 5,27,962 active cases of COVID-19 in India. Around 704 fatalities have been recorded in the last 24 hours. Fatality rate remains at less than 2%. 5,825 new cases registered in the last 24 hours. The total number of active cases have slid to 5,27,962. As for the latest ICMR data, a total of 12,09,425 samples of COVID-19 were tested in the last 24 hours, adding up to the total number to reach 11 crore 42 lakh 8,384. Well, the bail plea of Arnab Goswami, editor-in-chief of Republic TV, will be heard by the Bombay High Court. And Arnab has been sent to judicial custody till the 18th of November by Alibag Court on Wednesday. In a 2-year-old case on the charges of abetment of suicide, Maharashtra police arrested Republic TV's editor-in-chief Arnab Goswami and 2 others early Wednesday. Raigad police arrested Arnab under Section 305 of the IPC. The case pertains to the suicide of a 53-year-old interior designer and his mother in 2018. And now an update on COVID-19 from across the world. The virus has so far infected more than 4 crore 84 lakh people, while 3 crore 46 lakh have recovered worldwide. The viral disease has claimed over 12 lakh 30,000 lives globally. It continues to ravage the most in the US and Brazil. The US tops in the world, with cases surpassing 98 lakh and number of fatalities crossing 2 lakh 39,000. Followed by US as Brazil in terms of death toll, with over 1,61,000 families. In fact, lives have been lost due to COVID-19. Britons head towards a new 4-week-long COVID-19 lockdown amid soaring cases of the viral disease. Restaurants in London saw a heavy crowd thronging to dine, as non-essential establishments will remain closed in the country for at least a month. People thronged streets hours before the lockdown came into force. Meanwhile, authorities have urged to stay at home to combat a surge in new infections that scientists say could, if unchecked, cause more deaths than the first wave. UK has so far over 10,99,060 cases of COVID-19 with more than 47,740 deaths. Australia has signed 2 deals to buy 40 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines from Novavax and 10 million from Pfizer and BioNTech. The deal, worth about 1.5 billion Australian dollars, was followed by earlier agreements of worth 1.7 billion Australian dollars with AstraZeneca and CSL Limited for a total of nearly 85 million vaccine doses. Meanwhile, the country has not registered any new case of COVID-19 in the last 6 days from hotspots. Australia's total number of coronavirus cases is over 27,620 with 907 deaths so far. Italy has announced its new traffic light system to control the upsurge of COVID-19 cases in the country. As per the new harshest restrictive measures, regions of Calabria, Lombardy, Piedmont and Val d'Aosta will be placed under the category of red zones, keeping in view the highest number of COVID-19 cases reported from there, while rest of the country will be divided under orange and yellow zones depending on the caseload. The new rules will come into effect from the 6th of November and will last until the 3rd of December. Italy has over 7,90,370 cases of COVID-19, while the country has reported more than 39,760 fatalities from the disease. The United States and Bangladesh navies launched Cooperation Afloat Readiness and Training Bangladesh 2020 on Wednesday. The exercise aims to expand relationships and broaden maritime awareness between the two countries. The sea phase of the exercise will take place in the Bay of Bengal with ships from both countries. The events are designed to enhance interoperability between the two navies. Historically, the CARAT exercises involve people-to-people interactions and a variety of professional exchanges. These will take place online this year due to the COVID-19 pandemic. After wreaking havoc across Nicaragua, claiming at least 3 lives, ETA has weakened into a tropical storm. The storm battered homes, roads and key infrastructure with force of the winds and compelled thousands of people to evacuate. ETA is one of the most powerful storms to strike Central America in years. It struck Nicaragua as a Category 4 hurricane on the 5-step Saffir-Simpson scale before weakening to a tropical storm. Manchester United lost on Wednesday, throwing their group wide open. Dembaba was allowed to run through on goal unopposed from 15 yards and slot home a finish to give the Turkish champions a 13th minute lead in their first ever Champions League goal. Başakşehir midfielder Edin Visca scored the second goal in the 40th minute, taking advantage of Manchester United's poor defence. Anthony Martial reduced the deficit for United 3 minutes later, but the English team failed to draw parity. A Rubik's Cube artist has created a 6,000-piece mosaic in under 16 hours, the largest Rubik's Cube mosaic ever made in this time. The Italian artist created the special artwork to celebrate the 40th anniversary of the logic puzzle. That's it then in this edition of the news, but do remember to keep your mask up whenever you step out of your homes and be part of Doordarshan's Mask Up India initiative. Stay tuned to Doordarshan. Keep safe, keep healthy. Namaskar.